My name is Chris, and welcome to the Camper Dan Files. Got a package in from Rock Auto here. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what's inside. Now that we have our box cut open, we can see the contents. Yeah, we got some Akabono brake pads. It's the only brake pads that I trust. I use these on both of my Nissans, my R50 Pathfinder and my 5th gen Nissan Altima alike. As a matter of fact, the Altima was the first vehicle that I tested these on. And like Scotty Kilmer says and promotes, Akabonos are the best. They're long lasting, very quiet. In fact, I have no squeaks, which is amazing. This R50, the brakes in the front, they definitely were squealing when I got it. The brake pads were down to maybe 2 or 3 millimeters left. And the rotors are still original. I'm going to be changing those soon because I suspect that they're out of spec at this point. The Akabono brake pads that I have on here, I've been running those for almost 2 years now. And they've been doing great. But naturally, when we go to change our rotors, we're also going to need to replace our brake pads again. So here's everything that the kit comes with. I actually ordered this on sale, guys. For those of you who frequent Rock Auto or you're just looking for parts in general, right now they have huge closeout sales going on. So typically Akabonos, depending on the vehicle that you're looking at, it could range from as little as $42 to as high as maybe $70, depending on where you're getting them. You can find them on Rock Auto or you can find them on Amazon. I'll be sure to put a link in the description. Naturally, Amazon's not going to give you a discount on these, but if you can't find them anywhere else, that's a good source for them as well. So I was able to score these guys for $31.79, not including shipping and taxes, of course. But the cool thing is it comes with the stainless steel hardware, which you're going to need, and it even comes with some brake grease, but I don't use this stuff. I have a jar that I use that I prefer. I just grease the ears right here in this area, front and back on both sides, and then I just slap them on and not a peep. The main reason why I got into Akabonos to begin with, aside from the recommendation from Mr. Scotty Kilmer, was because my Altima was notorious for brake noise. I don't care what you threw on that thing, where you got it from, it always made noise. And I mean, I could take it to a reputable shop today, they change the brake pads, everything will be good, and a few months later, squeak! Primarily when I was backing up, and majority of the time, believe it or not, it was actually the rear brakes that were making the most noise. The fronts did make some, but it was primarily the rear brakes, especially first thing in the morning on a cold start, and I hated that. So once I tried the Akabonos, I actually tried the rear Akabono brake pads on my Altima first, because my Altima has 4-wheel disc brakes, and I was astonished to see that they didn't make any more noise after that. And I didn't even as much as turn the rotors, guys, which, by the way, the rotors that are on my Altima now, they're a Power Stop brand, and those things started making noise within the first 6 months of ownership with Power Stop brake pads. I've even tried Wagner's, and those made noise too. So nowadays I don't trust using anything except Akabono, and you'll find that the price for these things are comparable to what you would pay for other brands. You know, even the cheap stuff. You know, you might as well just pony up the extra few dollars and get these, because they're not going to make any noise and they're going to last the longest. Right now we have some rotors coming in. Yeah, unfortunately Akabono doesn't make rotors, but the rotors that I am getting and please don't burn me up in the comments, but these units are going to be cheap, the rotors that I'm getting. I'm getting a Centric brand rotors, mainly because they were cheap, and those two were on sale. Right now we're waiting on the Centric rotors to get here. Those are supposed to, well, they were supposed to be here today, but they're not here. I doubt they're going to be here today. They're still in Illinois somewhere. Outside of that, another thing that I'm going to have to order is some new bearings and seals for the front here. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need to replace my calipers. Now, they're going to get replaced regardless. I'm going to order some new brake lines too, because I know that the ones that are on here right now, they're pretty much cooked. They need to be replaced. I'm just on the fence on whether or not if I'm gonna go used OEM from the junkyard, or if I'm gonna go brand new or rebuilt from either Rock Auto or, you know, discount auto parts store like AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Advance. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do there. I did have my eyes on some really nice calipers that were just gonna be easy pickings for me. They were actually on a subframe that was already removed from an R50 at my local junkyard. But sadly, I waited too long, and either that setup got discarded or someone actually harvested it. I was also in the market for some CV axles there too, because I'm gonna need those as well. I've been looking at the Track Motive extra travel CV axles, and I read on Empora that people have actually been reporting that the boots on those tear also, and they're not cheap. They're like 130 per. So I'm like, do I want to pay 130 to have a boot rip and then go through warranty issues, or do I want to just get a used set of OEM ones at the junkyard, and then I'll just take my originals back to get my core charge back? So that's some stuff that I'm pondering and currently assessing at the moment. These are things that need to be done. As you guys know, I routinely tow a 6x10 cargo trailer with this thing, and I just want to make sure that the vehicle is safe, and I don't want to be responsible for injuring anybody due to maintenance not being done on my vehicle. I don't want to be that guy. Another thing too, we need drums, we need hardware, and we need shoes. And we're also going to need to replace the wheel cylinders, because we're going to need to bleed everything. I don't think this thing has been bled hardly ever. Maybe once or twice throughout its life, because the dust covers are missing from all the bleeder screws. But it definitely needs to be bled, especially once I get all of the brake work done. Those things are going to need to be bled. Now, this time around, because of how much rust there is on my R50, I'm going to entrust this work to my local trusted shop, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some things that's going to break. I'm going to make sure I have a couple hundred more stashed away on top of what I expect to pay to get the work done, just for any incidentals like brake lines, hoses, so on and so forth. I'm going to try and supply as many of the parts as possible. That's what I usually do. And my local trusted shop, they're really good about that. They know that I'm really particular about my rig and what I want to put on it, and I'm trying to do things as cheap as possible. Not necessarily meaning that I'm going to be using the cheapest of parts, because we're not doing that. I like using middle of the road or mid-grade stuff. I do use some cheap stuff too, but it depends on where said cheap stuff needs to be utilized. We can cheap in certain places, but where it concerns our brakes, that's not something that we're willing to do. Now, they did have the brake drum on sale, but it was just one singular drum. And I'm so sad, because if it was two of them available, I definitely would have jumped on it for the price. And these particular drums, they were coated too, which was super awesome. Now, all right, guys. So we have another package, and this time it's some rotors. Let's open it up and see what we got. All right, guys. So here's our packaging. So I'm gonna get this open and inspect it for damage immediately. So we're just gonna take all of this out. Here's our packing slip, we'll remove that. And here's our rotors. Here's the first one, and the second one at the bottom. Everything looks good, it's still sealed up, so we're gonna cut this open and take a gander. These are the cheapies. We didn't get the coated ones for rust resistance. I wish I did, but those were a lot more expensive. And I'm just testing these out to see how much life I can get out of them. All right, guys, so here they are. I'm not gonna take them out of the plastic because I want to keep them nice and fresh. I do have some other parts that I have to order. But yeah, these look good. I must say, at first glance, I'm impressed. Here's the second one. Again, we're just inspecting things for damage. Yeah, they look really good. I gotta get some wheel bearings for my hubs. I gotta get the inner and outer bearing, races, and seals. So yeah, we're gonna try and get some Timken bearings ordered. I've heard really good things about Timken. Now there is one thing that I didn't do. Again, we got the cheapies, the Centrics. What I really wish was that I had the means to get the coated brake rotors, mainly to combat the rust. But at the same time, because of where I reside, I'm here in the valley. Yeah, my R50 is gonna see snow maybe once or twice a year, depending on how much snow we see here in the higher elevations. So it's not a deal breaker. But if I had the extra funds, I definitely would have made that investment, because it just makes it easier to service things in the future when you go to take things apart. That's also one of the main reasons why I'm going to pay my shop to do this particular brake job, is because I know it's going to be some fighting involved, and I don't want to be the guy doing it, finding myself breaking stuff only to have them do it anyway. And I don't want to get into a situation where I break something and then my rig is not safe to at least drive to the shop. So I'd rather acquire the parts, acquire them over time, and then just drive it over there. Not a big deal. But yeah, guys, so it's kind of weird. So at the time when I purchased these Akabonos, they were shown to be on sale. Again, I got them for $31.79, and it showed that it was only one available at that price. But to my amazement, I just went online to consult the price to make sure I was giving you guys the right information. And there's another set, the same identical brake pads, and it's listed as only one being available. Now, they did have a brake drum on sale, but it was just one singular drum, and I'm so sad. I guess I can call Rock Auto to find out and see if it is truly only one brake drum that's available. Because if that's the case, you know, I'd rather get two of them and just call it a day, because I'm going to replace the drums on these. And I want something that's coated, so that way it looks better. I don't have to worry about the rust setting in as fast. More work to do on this thing. Right now I got it in the garage. I'm just going over a few things, trying to see where I'm at. Like, because I have a list of things that I've been working on ever since I acquired the R50, in terms of things that needed to be either fixed, addressed, or replaced in some way, shape, or form. And a couple of weeks ago, I was laying in bed and I was going over that list and consulting it. And I'm proud to say that it's 98% completed already. We still got a lot of work to do. We need a full suspension overhaul up here. Right now, we're just rocking partial stuff. You know, we got new struts, new coil springs. We need to replace those calipers. In fact, the bores inside of the calipers, the rubber boots, they're in bad shape. I'm surprised that they're not leaking, knock on wood. They're not leaking. I don't know how, but they're not. But if I'm going to invest all that time and money and effort in getting the brakes and rotors done along with the brake drums, I'm not going to cheap out. I'm going to definitely get those calipers replaced. They need to be replaced anyway. And while I'm there, I'll get the brake lines replaced too. I already have some components, and I'm kind of up in the air on what I want to do, and I'll show you guys here in a second. So here are 2 more boxes, guys. I've been sitting on this stuff for months now. As a matter of fact, it's been almost a year since I've been sitting on this guy. So here's a clutch slave cylinder. Now, the reason why I bought this is because it's cheap. See, it's still in the bag. I haven't even opened the bag, and I'm not going to. Now, the slave that's on my R50 currently, it still works. There's nothing wrong with it as far as I could tell. The only thing that I'm iffy about is the bleeder screw. I don't know if they're going to be able to crack that open without actually snapping it off. And then, of course, if it breaks, then they can replace it with this. But more importantly, here we have a clutch hydraulic hose. So this is the hose that runs from the body of my R50 to the actual slave cylinder. And the one that's on my R50 now, it's really, really rusty. And the hose, it's rotten. Like, you can see where it's looking puffy, guys. I don't know how I still have a clutch. I'm surprised that that thing hasn't blown out and given up the ghost. And I haven't been able to bleed my clutch and get rid of all of that old fluid that's in there because of that. So when I had gotten the clutch replacement job done on my R50 last year, I didn't have these components yet. In fact, I was still waiting on this to come in the mail. And in this guy, I couldn't even get my hands on it because it was like on back order. Now, once upon a time, Rock Auto actually had the OEM Nissan hydraulic hose. And then, poof, it went out of stock and it hasn't been back since. So I was forced to get this guy, which is like an off-brand, but it's built to OEM specifications. And it looks good. And my local shop told me that they would charge me $100 to slap it in. And I was like, okay, $100, no big deal. But I don't want to just go spend $100 here, $200 there, $300 there, you know. So I've just been stockpiling these parts and just waiting for the right opportunity to take the truck over there to get those things done. So this is going to be another bit of work that's going to be covered by them while I'm getting my brake system addressed. And hopefully that way I get a little bit of a better deal. This shop is Mexican owned, and they've always taken care of me, and they always try to get me the best price possible. In fact, I don't think there's ever been a time where they've quoted me a price and I was upset about it, or I was like, forget it, I'm taking my vehicle somewhere else. Again, Royalty Automotive Services, those guys know their stuff. And yeah, I know pretty much any and everybody that works there. All the technicians that work there, they know me. When you're done replacing those parts, put the old ones back in the box and just stick them in the trunk. They know. Don't throw anything away because I want to see. I want to see. Okay? It's not that I don't trust them. It's just that that's a relationship that we have. You know, I like to inspect things, because I've read of too many horror stories where people spend hundreds of dollars to get a component or components replaced on their vehicle, only to find out that the shop hasn't done hardly any of that, or in some cases, none of it. People get taken advantage of all the time. And I'm one of those people that just tries to make sure I'm getting what I'm paying for. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to Royalty Automotive Services. If you live in the Vegas area, I definitely recommend using those guys. Don't take your vehicle anywhere else, because If you do, you'll be paying for them to mess your vehicle up and then blaming it on you after the fact. Royalty Automotive Services, they'll work with you. They'll fix what needs to be fixed immediately. The other stuff, they will advise you, hey, you know, you might want to look at this sooner than later, but they'll do whatever they can to get you by and buy you some time. You know, they're not there to gouge you and say, yeah, we need to replace everything or else, you know, because some shops, that's what they do. You know, they scare you into replacing all these parts. And believe you me, I got a parts cannon. It's loaded. It's loaded and rapidly firing at parts right now, but I'm still trying to be conservative. So, yeah, definitely stick around for that because that's going to be coming down the pipeline. In terms of modifications, there's only a handful of things left to do, mainly on the rear suspension. Again, Philistines are coming. I haven't bought them yet, but I'm going to be busting my parts cannon on those real soon. Like I said, I'm a procrastinator. Don't be surprised if you see in one of my videos where I show that I finally got those parts in, and then it takes me another year before they get installed. That's just how I do things. You know, I have very limited budgeted time to work on my R50. Because on the weekends, I like to do stuff, you know. I like to do all things fun. Not saying that wrenching on my R50 is not fun, because I actually enjoy doing that. In fact, it's how I meditate and also how I self-medicate too. Because a couple of years ago, I broke my hand. You see those 2 dots? Yeah, I had surgical K-wires inserted right there in my hand. I broke the bones that made up fingers 4 and 5 here. And yeah, unlike most people going to therapy and learning how to use their hands at the assistance of, you know, a pain specialist, I didn't do that. I just picked up a wrench, and that's what got me back in shape, got my hand working again. So that's how I exercise, that's how I meditate, that's how I self-medicate, and that's just how I do things. So yeah, guys, definitely stick around. The next time you see these parts, they're going to be loaded up in the back of this R50. If you guys are interested in a discount code, definitely, if you haven't already, go on Empora and sign up to get a free profile. Any and everything you need to know about your R50, you're not going to learn it from me. You're going to learn it on Empora, because that's where it all exists. And not only that, you might be lucky enough to find a discount code there, because personally, whenever I get those Rock Auto discount codes, I like to share them there. Right now, it's me and at least one other individual that like to do this. When we get those codes, we don't hoard them for ourselves. You know, we share them amongst the community. In fact, on the Empora website, there is a thread specifically for vendors, and Rock Auto is going to be one of our main vendors. And all those discount codes get posted there, whether it gets posted there by Rock Auto themselves or another friendly member of Empora like myself. Just saying. You ain't got nothing to lose. But yeah, definitely go on there. Check out the closeout parts catalog. See if there's anything there that you might be needing or might be interested in. I know a lot of us like to be very specific and somewhat anal about the stuff that we throw on our rigs, but let's be honest. These things are 20 plus years old. They're never going to be perfect. Rock Auto has exactly what you need to keep your vehicle on the road and possibly buy you some more time too, all while you're saving a few dollars. So why not? Like I said, the parts closeout catalog along with that 5% discount code, that's going to help you. It's going to help you to save some money. So why not? But yeah, guys, another thing that I like with Rock Auto, when you spend, I think it's like 100 or more, they like to send you these magnets. And check this one out. It's EF Honda CRX hatchback. Yeah, it's an EF hatch, guys, for you Honda lovers out there. Yeah, I know what an EF is. Like I said in the past, I'm not biased to any one particular make. I love all cars. I find them all cool and interesting, and if I could, and if I had the means, I will own one of everything. But for right now, my 2 Nissans will do. But even though it's been altered a little bit, I still have all of the original parts. I didn't throw anything away. That's just me. I like to hold on to everything. And I don't throw anything away because you never know when you're going to need it. And trust me, I've needed some old things that I'm not going to mention here. But just know it saved my bacon. Because my truck would have been on jack stands otherwise. But we're not gonna dive too deep into that. I'm not even gonna mention it. But just know that old and worn out things still have a place. Don't throw anything away if you can. Your wife might get pissed off, but once she sees all that money that you're gonna be saving by not throwing anything away, she'll love you in the end. I know my wife does. She knows what's up. Anyway, I digress. I'm gonna let you guys go. I'll bring you back when I have the rest of the parts, and more importantly, when I'm ready to get the work done. Until then, keep using your Pathfinder as a Pathfinder, on or off the pavement. Once again, my name is Chris, and thanks for stopping by the Camper Dan Files. If you've enjoyed today's video, go ahead and give it a like. And while you're at it, don't forget to share, comment, and subscribe.